Et coucou. Merci David pour ton first. Ça fait très plaisir. Alors, est-ce que j'ai mis le titre? Oui. J'ai mis le jeu? Oui. Nous allons pouvoir commencer. Sur ce magnifique jeu. Donc, nous allons commencer l'épisode 2. Donc dans l'épisode 1, pour faire un résumé simple, on a perdu notre mère, enfin on joue un aristo parisien, qui est membre d'une société secrète qui s'appelle l'Ordre Doré. Cette société secrète est dirigée par notre mère, et notre mère a disparu, alors qu'elle était sur l'île de Lord Mortimer, qui est un noble anglais. Lord Mortimer nous invitait pour la retrouver. On est arrivé en même temps qu'un cardinal Piaggi, et une duchesse assez mystérieuse, plutôt opportuniste, qui s'est révélée par la suite être une double personne avec une seule identité, parce qu'elle se partageait l'identité de la duchesse avec sa sœur. On a rencontré George Washington, qui est le chef de l'Ordre Doré aux États-Unis. Napoléon Bonaparte, qui veut des canons. Un chef de tribunal révolutionnaire français. Un ministre des cultes prussien. Sans oublier Sir Holm, qui est le maître de la baraque quand Lord Mortimer n'est pas là. Du coup, c'est le bazar. On a aussi rencontré Elizabeth Adams, qui officiellement est morte, parce qu'elle était malade, et c'est notre mère qui lui a conseillé à ses parents de l'isoler. Voilà. Et on était rendu à Lord Mortimer qui vient prendre un café dans notre chambre.
How many times must I tell you? You must never put your life on the line for me.
Mother has always had a fascination for Lord Mortimer, but has never wanted to tell me why.
We are doing our utmost to find your mother as quickly as possible. Without your mother, hundreds of men of the cloth would have gone to the guillotine.
All I can tell you is I'm looking for my sister.
Do you believe your mother capable of torturing a child?
An agreement for cannons. Lord Mortimer assured me that you are to take over the project on behalf of your mother.
Johann Christoph von Wollner, Minister of Religious Affairs, and Jacques Peroux, French Revolutionary Tribunal Judge. You will find that Lord Mortimer is not what one would call conventional, Monsieur de Richet.
I do apologize for being late. I was obliged to clear up some urgent business.
Donc voilà, alors, l'épisode 1 encore, je pouvais aller assez vite sur les dialogues, parce que je le connaissais pour la plupart, mais j'ai déjà fait l'épisode 1 plusieurs fois. Là, nous rentrons dans une zone que je n'ai pas encore explorée. Alors, pour l'instant, nous allons nous équiper de 2 manuscrits pour donner des points de compétences permanents. L'encyclopédie, c'est pas mal. Il donne 3 points. Et ainsi que... Celui-là est déjà équipé, Je dirais celui-là.
At last we meet, Monsieur de Richet. Do you mind if I call you Louis?
Please do.
Thank you. I wish to apologize wholeheartedly, Louis. I made you cross the seas, and I wasn't even here to welcome you. When I asked you to join us here, it was, of course, in the hope that you would help us find your mother. However, there may be some new developments, but I don't know if they are linked to your mother. We have found.
Du coup, là, on est avec Lord Mortimer. Il a eu le chic de ne pas se présenter de tout l'épisode 1. Parce qu'il était occupé. Voilà. Donc on connaît quasiment rien de lui, à part que c'est... comment dire, le chef du machin. Ah, et puis on a aussi découvert, en fouillant sa bibliothèque privée, qu'il y a des trucs pas nets autour de ses propriétés.
Elizabeth Adams' body in her room. I'm afraid she was brutally murdered, stabbed several times.
Who could have done it?
That is precisely what I would like you to help us determine, Louis. Duchess Hillsborough informed us that she accompanied you at the beginning of the evening. You apparently bumped into Miss Adams, who wanted to speak to you. We are told you turned her away, and she went away on her own.
That's correct.
Do you know what she wanted to see you about, by any chance?
Not in the
Bien sûr, nous
least.
ne savons pas.
Pity. The poor
Enfin,
child was
je
probably
sais
trying to
ce qu'elle
find
voulait
help.
me parler.
I thought it could wait until tomorrow.
Apparently not.
Ça devrait pas jouer à mon avantage.
Louis, I shan't hide the fact that this tragedy puts me in a very delicate situation. I cannot risk upsetting the smooth operation of our next conference. But the case cannot remain unaddressed. I
On va le
must
laisser finir
reassure
parler.
my
Hein.
guests, and justice will be done. And for that to happen, I must ask for your help.
Why is that?
You met Elizabeth. You spoke together, I believe. She trusted you. Listen, Louis. Find out who could have committed this murder. I refuse to believe that one of my guests is the murderer. I want to know who is responsible for this. And I trust you. You have my backing. You must stop at nothing. Can I count on you?
Of course. How would you like me to proceed?
Maybe you could start by going to the scene of the crime. Elizabeth was attacked in her room.
Do you have any suspects in mind, my lord?
I spent most of the night talking with Sir Gregory and His Eminence Piaggi, so I think you can remove them from the list of suspects. Monsieur Bonaparte and President Washington left the party after midnight, I believe. They were tired and went up to bed.
Donc,
Can you tell me anything else about what happened?
Now,
nous allons devoir
Louis,
enquêter
I
sur
haven't
deux
got
choses
to
en même
influence
temps.
you. Get over there and form your own opinion.
Right. I'll get over there immediately.
Thank you, Louis. Now, once you've finished, come back and let me know your findings. I'll be waiting. And Louis, you've got permission to search through the guests' rooms. They've all been notified and they agree.
Et c'est cool, nous allons pouvoir fouiller des chambres. Alors, nous sommes au bureau de Mortimer qui est tout en haut. C'est bizarre, il y a Piaggi ici. C'est d'autres trucs. Je sais pas. Je voudrais de la gelée royale, s'il vous plaît. S'il y en a. Plus parler, non, on va pas rien de plus. Ah. Non, c'est pas ce que j'attendais, mais bon.
Your Eminence, I imagine that you've heard the news about Miss Adams.
What a tragedy, my son. How could such a thing have happened?
That's exactly what I'm trying to find out. Did you notice anything out of the ordinary last night?
I saw the young French soldier, Bonaparte, I believe, hanging around near Miss Adams' room. But I would not want to get an innocent
Ma théorie,
man
ça
into
reste que
trouble, Louis. It's probably
c'est
not.
notre mère qui l'a tué.
Not to worry, Your Eminence. If he is innocent, then he has nothing to fear. Do you know why Monsieur Bonaparte was hanging around her room like that?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to learn that the dashing young soldier had become infatuated with a fragile young woman who looked a bit lost. But I don't think he got a very warm welcome.
Bonaparte and Adams? But they didn't even know each other, did they?
I couldn't say, Louis. But if I were you, my son, I would talk to Monsieur Peru. You remember
oui, Monsieur
how
Peru.
violently he set upon Miss Adams.
Oh, don't worry.
Peut-être.
He's on the list of suspects.
Pas de gelée royale là. Oh. Clé à motif occulte de l'eau. Je sais pas où on peut l'utiliser celle-là. Alors, nous sommes à l'étage des chambres. Là, c'est ma chambre, le petit balcon, avec la chambre du Piaggi et une chambre inoccupée.
Monsieur Johann von Wulner.
Merci Croquette pour le follow. C'est bien sympathique de ta part.
Good
Monsieur
day,
Van Volner.
Mr. Volner, are you looking for anything in particular? Next to Elizabeth's room?
nothing special.
On va lui demander ce qu'il fait dans ses
Lord
couloirs.
Mortimer must have informed you of the necessity for everyone to remain in their rooms until further notice.
Certainly, but I'm a guest, not a prisoner. I was looking for
Encore
a
quelqu'un qui veut
servant,
pas se confiner, hein.
since we don't all, unfortunately, have one at our disposal.
Yeah, right.
I shall leave you now, sir. I will return to my room.
J'aurais peut-être dû poser une autre question. Peut-être qu'il m'aurait pas répondu un minimum.
President George Washington.
Ah oui, j'ai oublié, je voulais fouiller sa chambre lui aussi. Alors... J'ai volé un livre. Et là, je n'ai toujours pas l'agilité pour le faire. Ah, élixir d'or.
A map of Vermont.
Carte du Vermont. Le fief de Bernie Sanders, bien sûr. Peut-être qu'on va voir Bernie Sanders là-dedans. Alors, on peut parler à Washington.
My dear George, I'd like to invite you to join me as planned at my place. I have a project to show you. It is time that the United States played a more important role on the world stage. I understand your reluctance of playing with fire.
Ok.
I know your new country is very
Donc
young,
Washington
but
est
rest
invité
assured that I would do nothing to jeopardize
pour
what we have
causer
built together.
de la
I
place
look
des États-Unis
forward
dans
to
le
seeing
monde.
you.
It looks like a note between Emily and Washington about trade deals. The English and the Americans
C'est le
are preparing
couturier
a
en
peace
décrypte la
treaty.
lettre.
It would appear that Emily is in secret discussion with Washington about reopening trade between the United States and England. If such an arrangement came into being, France would suffer dearly.
Donc je sais pas si je suis en train de faire une enquête sur la mort d'Elisabeth ou si je suis en train d'enquêter sur pourquoi ils sont là en fait.
Honey, the remedy of the gods.
Bon. Ah. Je peux pas déverrouiller. Attends, il y a quelque chose là-bas ou pas? Non. On peut pas aller sur le balcon. Donc nous allons parler à ce cher Washington.
Greetings, Louis.
Mr. President, you can guess why I'm here.
Of course.
Lord Mortimer has sent me to ask you a few questions about last night.
It's... How am I going to tell Elizabeth's father that she's dead?
I know, Mr. President. I shall endeavor to find out the truth about this tragedy. I must ask you to help me, though. Please.
Find the degenerate pig who did this, Louis.
Alors...
I'm talking to all the guests to find out who has an alibi and, well, who doesn't, Mr. President. Can you tell me what you were doing last night so that I can strike your name off the list?
I spent the night right here, reading.
All night?
Exactly.
Il était tout seul.
Emily stopped by in the middle of the night, you can ask her. She wanted to talk about some business we have in common.
Anything whatsoever to do with Elizabeth?
Not at all, Louis. A business matter.
Do you know
Je vais
why
demander
she
s'il
came to the
connaît
island?
pourquoi
To get
Elisabeth.
help, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that right?
Indeed. Sir Gregory suggested to her father that he introduce her to Lord Mortimer to see if he could help her.
Yes, Lord Mortimer has a talent for healing, apparently. I'm not surprised Sir Gregory advised her to come.
Agreed. I shan't keep you any longer, Mr. President.
Feel free, Louis. If there's anything I can do,
Donc.
just ask.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Faudra voir ce que raconte Emily pour savoir si lui dit vrai. Peu, peu, peu. Ah, ça s'actualise là-dessus. C'est beau.
Monseigneur, His Eminence
Cardinal Piaggi, on lui a
Caravaggio.
déjà parlé. Et on peut pas rentrer dans sa chambre.
Huh, that's me.
Ça, c'est moi. On peut même pas rentrer dans notre chambre, c'est triste ça.
Duke
Alors,
Manuel Godoy.
Godoy, on l'a pas vu pour l'instant, donc ça ne servira à rien de toute manière.
Duchess
Et voilà la
Emily
duchesse. Jolie chambre encore une fois.
King George III in coronation robes. Nice touch for the room of an English duchess. Tending children at the orphanage in Harlem. I find it a little hard to understand this painting choice.
Un livre,
Grammar
voulons-le.
of Port-Royal. Ah, the artistry of the French language in all its splendor. Whoever masters French commands the world. At least une partie of it.
Voilà. C'est donc vrai. Quand on maîtrise le français, nous dominons le monde. Alors là-bas, il y a
The
une
Lady's
duchesse.
Waldegrave by Reynolds. Painted upon the request of the Waldegrave family in an effort to find them a husband. Displayed like meat. It's disgusting.
Dear E, I received your last letter. Unfortunately, the Crown informed the Golden Order that our mission should under no circumstances hamper Sir Gregory's plans. Decidedly, they have support from the highest level in Buckingham Palace. So here we both are, hands and feet tied, and little room to maneuver. Keep me abreast of events. Our mission is becoming more complicated. Yours, E. P.S. The French chapter of the Order doesn't appear to know anything about the arrival of our friend Sarah. I therefore cannot comment on it.
C'est pour Émilie,
My
normalement.
guess is that she has come here for personal reasons.
Qui lui a envoyé ça, par contre? Ça peut pas être Lord Mortimer, parce que... il sait parfaitement pourquoi Sarah pourrait venir. Et c'est forcément quelqu'un de l'ordre. Je sais pas s'il fait partie de l'ordre, Lord Mortimer. Oh.
A fragment
Je
of
gagne
amber.
un point d'effort, c'est bien sympathique. Ça on a vu. L'autre partie de la chambre maintenant.
A letter from William Pitt the Younger, addressed to Emily. He's the present Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Emily has indeed some powerful backers. Madam, thank you for consoling the Queen. The King's situation is worsening, but I wager he'll recover from this present fit. Next time you speak with Her Majesty the Queen, would you please be so kind as to ask her to look into my petition to raise taxes with the King? I will personally see to it that our nation will recover from this impasse. But King George's mental situation is slowing down our decision-taking. Thank you in advance for all your help. William Pitt, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom of Great Britain.
Elle est vraiment bien placée, la duchesse. C'est vraiment le bazar, hein. On a des révolutionnaires et des contre-révolutionnaires au même endroit, c'est
Two coils
vraiment hasardeux quand même.
A letter from William Pitt the Elder addressed to Emily.
William Pitt
He's
le
the
jeune,
English
William
Prime
Pitt
Minister. This letter dates
l'ancien,
from
ça fait beaucoup
15
ça,
years
non?
ago now. Madam,
On pourrait pas changer de nom des
I shall
fois.
never thank you enough for all your care and attention. I shall be indebted to you until my last breath. If you have any request of me, you only need ask. With regards to my son William, I shall never thank you enough for looking after him. You know the latter's preferences, and you will understand he needs you desperately. For that, and as agreed with Queen Charlotte, our friend Duke Hillsborough will carry out his task and meet with you within 6 months. From then on, you'll be free from want. Yours sincerely, William Pitt, Count of Chatham.
Eh ben, du coup, on sait que le père de l'actuel Premier ministre fait partie de l'accord pour son mariage. Je sais pas si ça va être si ça va nous être utile, mais bon. Maintenant, nous avons à lui parler.
What can I do for you, Louis?
I've come to see you about last night's tragedy. Did you hear anything about what happened to Elizabeth?
Yes, we all did. Rumors spread quickly, you know. How awful. I didn't know her well, but I hope at least the poor thing didn't suffer too much.
Je vais pas gaspiller mes points d'effort pour l'instant.
Elizabeth was stabbed 9 times. No doubt she suffered greatly.
9 times? What monster is capable of such a horrible thing? Do you know what happened exactly?
In fact, Lord Mortimer has asked me to look into this case, Emily.
Really? Are you Lord Mortimer's snoop now?
I'm doing it for Elizabeth, not to please Mortimer.
Good for you. Quite right, too. Have you found out anything?
Allez, un
Since
petit
your
point d'effort
arrival,
gaspillé pour ça,
did you
ça vaut le
notice
coup.
anything strange about Elizabeth?
Everything that happened around that poor child was strange. You saw that for yourself.
I know. You're right. I'm looking for leads to try to reduce the number of suspects.
Well, I would say that in addition to ourselves, you could also cross off President Washington. I went to see him during the night. I had some business with him, and I can confirm that he didn't leave his room all night.
That gives Washington an alibi. Did you and Elizabeth get to know each other?
I must admit, Louis, I didn't take much interest in her. I feel a bit guilty about it, but I never actually spoke to her. She seemed burdened by her problems, and as she wasn't invited to the conference, I didn't really seek her out.
Allez, risquons de la
I hear
fâcher
you were
avec
in
PhD
discussions with the
Washington.
Holy See.
Oh, either His Eminence can't keep his tongue from wagging, or you've been poking your nose where you shouldn't, sir.
Even so, Emily, you're raising a royalist army. That's no small matter.
And you are straying from the subject. Is there anything else you wanted to ask me?
Tell me, Emily, what's the nature of your relationship with Washington?
Oh, come off it, Louis. You're not going to go into a jealous rage, are you?
No, I can assure you of that. That has nothing to do with it.
It doesn't really matter. Look, Louis, the President and myself are working on a number of commercial contracts. Nothing overly exciting.
You're lying, Emily. If these agreements come into being, they'll break Franco-American alliances for the greatest benefit of England. In order to know.
Allez, nous allons
I won't keep you,
la
Emily.
laisser.
Thank you for answering my questions.
See you, Louis.
Nous allons retourner à fouiller partout. Hop, là. Donc, on peut enlever sur Piaggi, Washington et la duchesse.
Monsieur Napoléon Bonaparte.
Maintenant, nous allons voir notre cher lieutenant avec un accent pas ouf. On ferait mieux de parler en français quand même.
The Prince by Machiavelli. A perfect read for anyone with a surfeit of ambition. That might come in handy.
Oh, nous avons découvert une immunité sur Bonaparte. Faut pas lui parler de politique, ok. Lui est là.
My dearest son, I'm writing to implore you to act quickly. The situation is rapidly worsening here. Paoli continues to steer our motherland, Corsica, toward open warfare between France and England. His men are everywhere. We are obliged to go into hiding and are unable to remain in the same place for more than 2 days. I wouldn't be surprised if they targeted us soon. Make haste, my son. You hold our destiny in your hands. Your loving mother.
Sergent en embuscade, oui, Bonaparte c'est mon expert. Il pourrait venir, hein. Mais c'est dommage, je n'ai pas de guillotine dans le jeu.
A Bazant.
Une pièce de collection. J'en ai plein de pièces de collection, mais je ne sais pas à quoi ça sert. J'espère que je trouverai une réponse à ceci.
French actor Talma is Nero in Britannicus, the last emperor of the Caesar dynasty.
Guillotine en DLC. J'aimerais bien. Mais le jeu serait beaucoup moins palpitant si on avait une guillotine parce que on irait trop vite dessus.
On the other hand, his cleaning equipment is in mint condition. That's typical of the soldier in him.
Putain, du coup, j'ai pas eu le temps de lire.
One holster in Bonaparte's gear, and the pistol is missing. On the other hand, his cleaning equipment is in mint condition. That's typical of the soldier in him.
Ah ouais, c'est juste pour dire qu'il est militaire, ok.
My dear Napoleon, as previously agreed, I would like to ask you to join us in January on my island to participate in the High Society meeting organized for the occasion. We shall be able to continue our discussion about our project for a new order for France.
Ok, donc Napoléon est là pour discuter avec Lord Mortimer pour préparer l'Empire. Très joyeux. Très très joyeux, vraiment.
Golden elixir. A bicorn decorated with a cockade. It must belong to a French soldier.
Sembleille. Ça doit appartenir à un militaire français. C'est bizarre, nous sommes dans la chambre d'un militaire français. Dis donc, vous ne serez pas militaire français, vous?
Monsieur de Richet, please be quick. We are both very busy.
Did you
Nous
hear
allons
about
l'interroger sobrement.
Indeed, it is deeply regrettable.
Lord Mortimer asked me to...
I know. You no doubt want to know my alibi. I spent the night downstairs playing cards.
Can you tell me who was present at the game, please?
Well, there were Lord Mortimer, President Washington, and Sir Gregory.
Thank you.
Ah, and His Eminence Piaggi as well. Excuse me, I nearly forgot him. Poor soul.
Did any of you leave during the game?
Not that I know of, monsieur. I didn't exactly spend my time noting the other guests' comings and goings, but I don't think so.
Thank you. Did you notice anything unusual during the evening?
Nothing at all, except the luck of the devil of Lord Mortimer and Sir Gregory
La
of
chance est
Cars.
montée.
Did they win much?
Oh la la,
Je
monsieur,
dirais la
they
riche.
cleaned us out more
Triche.
like. But I plan on getting it all back before we leave.
What time did the game end?
I can't say exactly. As for me, I must have stayed until midnight. I was exhausted, couldn't think straight. So I preferred to go up to bed.
On your way up to bed, did you notice anything out of the ordinary?
No, not in the least. The whole manor was sound asleep.
Not really. No. Someone saw you
Allez,
not
attends le
far
truc qui
from the victim's
fâche.
room. Can you tell me what you were doing exactly, please?
I can tell you that someone is an idiot. I wanted to warn her to
On
be
est un con,
careful.
c'est beau ça.
You see, on the night of my arrival, I saw someone leaving her room in haste, and I wanted to speak to her, to warn her. Unfortunately, the young lady slipped through my fingers each time. Now I know why. She had every reason to be worried. What an idiot I was not to insist. I could have helped her.
Were you able to recognize the prowler?
Unfortunately not, no. It was dark, and Lord Mortimer was waiting for me. I was not really paying attention anyway. Well, have we
Nous
finished,
n'allons pas
monsieur?
gaspiller
Exactly.
2 points d'effort sur
Thanks
lui.
again for all your answers.
Surtout
Good day.
qu'après j'en ai plus. Je n'ai plus de gelée royale. Filez-moi la gelée royale. Donc... Il me semble que...
C'est Jacques Perrin.
Le tortionnaire.
What do you want from me, de Richet?
Greetings. It's fallen to me
Cut
that...
the crap! Get to the point. We both know why you're here.
And have you got anything to tell me?
What does it matter? It's too late anyway. Do what you have to do and get out.
On va fouiller la chambre d'abord. Mais je trouve un peu nerveux. Hein. Je sais pas vous, mais... Un livre à voler.
Records of the police. Notes intended for the police lieutenant of Paris. It's a list of people under surveillance.
Oh, merci Abigail pour le follow.
There's some well-known names on it. This is valuable information. This shouldn't be lying around.
Merci Lana aussi. Clé à 4 cercles. Alors si je trouve un coffre à 4 cercles, ce serait bien.
Dear friend, please come and join us. We must meet about the ongoing operations in Paris. A boat will be waiting for you in Calais and will take you to Dover in England. From there, a
Suite
carriage
des
will take
opérations
you
à
to the
Paris.
port of Tintagel, where a frigate will be waiting for you and other guests.
Alors,
So you can meet up with me on my island as quickly as possible.
je vois pas ce
I
qu'il a
await
comme
your
opération à faire à Paris,
Lord
vu que c'est un
William.
juge. Et que Mortimer, c'est quand même, globalement, un proche des contre-révolutionnaires. Je sais même pas que tu te lançais sur Twitch. Alors, si je me lance pour jouer à ce magnifique jeu qui est The Council, j'avais envie de faire profiter les gens. Alors, est-ce qu'il y a d'autres choses à prendre dans sa chambre? Ah, j'ai lu ça, non? Je suis pris d'une énergie piégée. Je t'aime maintenant et à jamais. Alors, qui est cet heureux amant ou heureuse amante avec Perru? Peut-être Sarah.
A pattern with 4 circles.
Ah, motif 4 cercles. J'ai la clé.
Dear Monsieur Peru, I'm writing to thank you for the funds you sent. These funds will be crucial for the renovation of the western wing of the orphanage. The children you sent are doing marvelously well, and little Pierre will soon be walking. Some of them still sometimes suffer nightmares about their parents on the scaffold, but I expect they will cease in due course. Should you decide to send us more,
Il a bon cœur, ce
please
Perru,
note
quand même. Hein.
that another 20 beds will soon be
Il
ready.
aide à rénover
The children and
un
myself
orphelinat pour
will never thank
envoyer
you enough.
des
Long live the
orphelins
Republic. Long
par sa
live
faute.
France. Sister Marie-Hélène. All right. I've retrieved everything. All right. I've retrieved everything.
Maintenant, nous allons lui parler. Oh, un petit tableau sympa.
Nice decor for a Revolutionary Tribunal judge's room.
Ah bah, c'est les orphelins qui... Et lui tient l'épée.
All right. Have you finished?
Not quite. I'd like you to answer a few questions. Let's get right to it. Are you Elizabeth Adams' murderer?
That is for you to prove, if I'm not mistaken, boy. You weren't expecting me to do all the
C'est...
legwork for you, were
J'ai
you?
quand même gaspillé 2 points pour quelque chose qui ne m'a rien apporté.
I'd like to talk about the letter you're writing. What woman is it addressed to?
Who says it's a woman? I'm not saying any more. There's no point you insisting.
Très bien, nous allons quitter sa chambre du coup. Est-ce qu'il m'en reste? Oui, il m'en reste. Il doit y avoir celle de Volner que je n'ai pas fouillée. Un livre. C'est beau, encore un livre à voler. Quand j'aurai fini mon séjour ici, il n'y aura plus de bibliothèque possible puisque j'aurai tout pris.
Monsieur Johann von Volner.
Du coup, il me reste celle de Volner. Et après, c'est finito. Il faudrait que je retourne voir Mortimer. Encore un livre. J'en ai trop de livres maintenant. Va falloir arrêter. Donne point en érudition. Ah. De la gelée royale, ça me manquait. Je ne peux pas fouiller.
A table of alchemical symbols.
Symbole
Someone
chimique.
circled the zinc symbol.
Ils ont gâché le tableau quand même.
The Sorrows of Young Werther. There's a handwritten text signed by von Werner on this first page. Dear Elizabeth, I know that this book is but a small token compared to the delightful moments you gave me, but I hope that this will nonetheless keep the memory alive. Your ever obedient servant. So, Volner had a relationship with Elizabeth, but That's hardly surprising given his fondness for the occult.
C'est un peu bizarre tout ça, mais bon.
A chest locked with a 4-letter code.
Code à 4
Surely a
lettres.
word close to the owner's heart.
Qu'est-ce que ça peut être? Je sais. Zinc. Bien entendu. Pourquoi l'entourer sinon sur le tableau?
The alchemist is a young man.
Beaucoup de trucs d'alchimiste quand même ici. Là, je peux pas attraper parce que je n'ai pas la compétence agilité.
Amber. The alchemist is an old man.
Ok, donc il y a des vieux, des jeunes partout. Maintenant parlons.
What can I do for you, de Richet?
Monsieur, Lord Mortimer has appointed me to investigate the tragedy that befell us last night.
Oh, yes. It's horrible. Yes. How can I help, monsieur?
Excuse me for asking, but did you know Miss Adams?
Oh, she... not really, to tell the truth. No.
I found the Werther dedication, signed by your hand, monsieur. Would you like to change your version now?
Be careful, de Richet. Don't push your luck. My relationship with Miss Adams was pure, and has nothing to do with you. Well, continue playing the detective as you see fit. But if I find the bastard who did that to Elizabeth, I will...
Yes! I would have preferred a simple response, but I see I have my answer now. You loved her, didn't you?
That is none of your damn business.
Your feelings betray you, sir.
So what?
Je l'aime pas, Van Volner. Il a une tête
I
de
loved her.
pas
like
gentil.
a moth loves the flame of a candle. That's why we could never be together.
Exactly how long had you been seeing her?
I have no reason to answer you.
I see. Is that what you want me to tell Lord Mortimer when he asks what I found out?
It's only been a few weeks.
I get the impression that your romance was over. Am I right?
So? What does it matter to you? I would never have attacked her, if that's what you're insinuating.
Who put an end to the relationship? You or her?
It was her. It was her. But what does that matter? We both agreed.
Ok.
Where were you last night?
La question qui
In my
fâche maintenant.
room. I read
Même
a
si
few
les autres se
ancient
fâchaient quand même un peu.
manuscripts before going to bed. But I didn't stay up long. I was tired.
Thank you kindly. We finished. I'll have a look around and then take my leave.
Do
Donc,
whatever you
globalement,
have to do.
il n'y a que Van Volner qui est un peu vague. Et Perru qui est complètement vague. Il n'a pas voulu répondre. Du coup, nous allons remonter. Non, on peut pas remonter par ici. Par où est-ce que je suis arrivé? Oui, c'est par là. C'est un grand trou, hein.
I've come to speak about the findings of the investigation, my lord.
I'm listening, Louis.
Will you remind me of the facts we already know about?
Elizabeth Adams was killed last night, but Piaggi was with Holm and I until late at night. As for Bonaparte and Washington, they left us after midnight, both tired.
I believe I've identified the murderer.
Really, Louis? All right then. Please think carefully before you give me your answer. This is a very, very serious accusation.
Vous allez dire Jacques
Would
Perru,
appear
parce que,
that
quand même.
Monsieur Perru is the culprit.
What proof do you have against him?
He hit her before yesterday evening. His Eminence Piaggi can testify to that fact.
Ah, very interesting. Anything else?
I believe there's enough here to prove his guilt.
Very well. I'll share your conclusion with Gregory, and then I shall take care of everything from now on. Given the eminent guests and the important political issues involved, I trust you will leave me to conclude the case in my own way. Right. It's time we spoke about your mother, Louis.
Ah, enfin.
She isn't missing, you know.
What? What do you mean?
My mother has left traces in every nook and cranny of your island, my lord. She's definitely here. Now, what worries me most is why she doesn't show herself.
That doesn't make me feel any better, Louis.
What was the official reason why my mother came to your island?
I knew about your mother's activities, and yours, in the Golden Order. I thought we had everything to gain by working together.
You mean the cannon deal with Monsieur Bonaparte?
Among others, yes. How did you hear about that?
Monsieur Bonaparte came to speak to me about it yesterday, during lunch.
I see. So
Ah, et
impetuous.
Mortimer, il a quand même la
He
même
was
tête que
supposed to
l'autre.
let me speak to you about it first.
C'est terrible
Our
ça.
friend Napoleon desperately needed financial backing to properly equip his army. I took it upon myself to back him because I have a firm conviction that he can go far.
Sans
We shall
blague.
see. However, there's one thing that surprises me. Isn't Bonaparte a bit young to deserve so much attention?
Well, you come straight to the point. I like that. Indeed, if you knew just how much you remind me of him. Trust me, I'll wager that Monsieur Napoleon will soon prove himself. I'm working on it, at least. Once this deal was closed, I had big plans for Sarah.
Such as what?
You see, I've invited several influential figures on my island to present them with a project at the conference. It will be presented later today. I thought that the Golden Order had a role to play, and I still think so. I was hoping Sarah would be able to join us.
I see.
Indeed, if by chance your mother decided not to return to us before the conference, would you do me the great honor of attending? If only to follow the deliberations while waiting for her to duly take her seat.
Why not? We shall see.
Ah, thank you so much. In this way, you'll be able to keep your mother informed of what is said. There's something else I'd like to briefly go over. Earlier, you asked me the official reason for your mother's presence here. Is there an off-the-record reason why your mother came here?
If only my mother had trusted me, but she remained very mysterious. I'd have been delighted to answer your question.
Is this usual for her?
Oui, à la
As
base,
head
on
of the order, secrets
a
are
quand même
her
un
bread and
livre
butter,
à
as you
vendre,
can
il me
imagine.
semble.
That said,
Mais
it's
je
the
sais pas si je
first
peux lui faire
time she
confiance
hasn't
à
let me
lui.
in on the reason for her trip. And it intrigues me, to tell you the truth.
Well, I'm sure that Sarah will explain everything once she reappears. There's something I still don't get. In your opinion, why would your mother remain in hiding over several weeks?
Her not coming back to the manor after so long makes me wonder if she is wary of someone.
Well, certainly. But whom? The only ones who were present during her stay were Sir Gregory, Duchess Hillsborough, Mr. von Wollner, and myself.
You forget Elizabeth Adams, my lord.
That's true. But Gregory and I arranged it so that they wouldn't run into each other. I thought it had worked. Do you think that your mother felt she was in danger because of Elizabeth?
It's possible.
The only thing I can tell you is that Sarah had indeed changed. At the beginning of her stay here, we enjoyed spending time together, solving the world's problems.
You seem to know my mother very well, my lord.
La discussion est quand même
What
assez
did you
longue.
talk about together?
Oh, as soon as we
Mais
had a
faites
little
bien.
free time, we like to share points of view about practically any subject. We would find ourselves embarked on interminable discussions that could go from Monsieur Blanchard's flight in a hot air balloon to the Treaty of Jersey, or the adoption of the metric system in France last year, or even Mr. Eli Whitney's invention in the United States.
The armistice between the Russians and the Turks. Russia's come out of it having officially won Crimea, which gives it direct access to the Black Sea.
And, at the same time, the Mediterranean Sea. I'm worried about the decisions Tsarina Catherine might decide to take. She's a woman who managed to get rid of her husband to accede to the upper reaches of power. Gaining access to the Mediterranean Sea remains her main objective. When she still had that dear Potemkin as her lover, I could always find out about her intentions, but those days are over.
Potemkin.
You're speaking of Grigory Alexandrovich Potemkin?
The very man. The little devil behind the mother of all Russians. Since his death, I know absolutely nothing of what the Tsarina is up to.
Oh, really?
Ah, yes. I didn't mean to shock you. Please forgive me. Let's just say that, in my position, it is often advantageous to know about the habits and customs of world leaders.
I'm surprised she didn't get you started on the Crusades. It was her favorite subject.
Are you joking? Sarah and I spent entire days together reliving them. It so happens that the Crusades are also my subject of predilection, especially the third. My ancestor
Génial, des gens qui adorent parler de croisade.
during the siege of Saint-Jean d'Acre.
Unfortunately, my lord, the Crusades are not my chosen field.
Well, it doesn't matter. You have plenty of time to learn.
Oui, apprenons
Your
les
mother
croisades.
is a very well-read woman. You're quite lucky
Nous
to
avons
have
que
her
ça
as a
à faire.
model, Louis.
Yes, I know, but I'm still very worried.
I must admit, there are worse things to worry about now, Louis.
What do you mean?
Since she disappeared, your mother has been seen once. Her behavior on the evening of your arrival greatly surprised Gregory and myself. She resurfaced to attack Emma, Emily Hillsborough's twin sister.
Ah,
And she shot her with a pistol. Then, before Gregory could intervene, she ran off and disappeared again.
donc la vision
I beg your
qu'on a eue en
pardon? Hang
arrivant
on.
s'est réellement passée.
My vision on the wharf, it was actually happening inside the manor. Mother shot Emily's sister? The very person she came looking for? Why would she do that?
Excuse me, but between that and the childhood of Lady Adams, it's all a bit much for me to cope with. I need to piece it all together again to see things more clearly. You said that you spent a lot of time talking together at the beginning. What happened for that to change?
I'm afraid I haven't much to tell you. The more the days went by, the more she withdrew into herself. She never gave me an explanation. Until the day came when she purely and simply disappeared.
Where did she go when she wanted to be alone?
She would shut herself away in a room we use as a box room upstairs.
Would you allow me to go there?
Naturally, Louis, of course. I'll send you a servant to open it.
Thank you.
That's all I can tell you about the disappearance of your mother, Louis. I would like to have been more helpful.
I shall stay on her trail and follow up any leads.
Thank you. We will meet later on to welcome our last guest. In the meantime, I shall get someone to open the box room upstairs for you.
Thank you. The room was just opposite Mortimer's study.
Du coup... La chambre de la tour. Non, c'est pas ça, si. C'est là la chambre de la tour. Fouillons-la un peu. Ah, déjà le royal, c'est beau. Fragment de papier brûlé.
There's a legible fragment left. Hey, I recognize my mother's handwriting. She says, we must find a safer way to communicate. Someone is on to us. Trust in my faith in the man with the sword. So Mother had an accomplice here. Who could it be? Who could she be suspicious of? I must find the next part. Faith, sword. I recognize her love of riddles there.
Ah, il y a trop d'énigmes. Je sais pas si j'ai réussi à celle-là.
Dante's Paradise. Raise your head and be reassured, for what comes up here from the mortal world must ripen in our rays.
St. Paul on the road to Damascus by Caravaggio.
Il est partout, le Caravage.
Caravaggio attained a magnificent command of black and the play of colors, too. Paul facing an ordeal, the curtains of his illusions being raised, and receives the light from his Savior.
Un petit flacon sympathique.
They say that if you drink this, it gives you a real boost.
Alors, du coup... Ah, nous sommes là dans la chambre de la tour, qui est à côté de celle de Volner.
The door appears to be locked on the other side. I think I heard something fall to the ground. A metallic sound, like a key falling to the floor.
Bizarre, comme c'est bizarre. Moi, je dirais que la personne que je cherche est ici. Mais voilà. Sur l'homme à l'épée. Ont-ils une épée ici? Non. L'homme à l'épée. Mais c'est terrible ça. Je peux pas sortir. Je suis encore bloqué.
Dante's Paradise. Raise your head and be reassured, for what comes up here from the mortal world must ripen in our rays.
Lève la tête. Lève la tête. Non, ça ne donne rien. C'est quand même... C'est terrible. Je suis en train de regarder sur internet s'il y a des réponses à ça. Je sais pas.
St. Paul on the Road to Damascus by Caravaggio.
J'ai l'impression que je n'ai vraiment aucune compétence. C'est même pas juste un problème de agilité, logique, subterfuge.
St. Paul on the Road to Damascus by Caravaggio. Caravaggio attained a magnificent command of black and the play of colors too. Paul facing an ordeal, the curtains of his illusions being raised, and receives the light from his Savior.
Ah, mais je n'ai rien loupé quand même dans la pièce. J'ai tout regardé. Ah non.
What is
Il y a
this
ceci.
disc?
Nous allons le prendre. C'est ça qui va nous permettre d'ouvrir.
We'll see if it
Pour
works.
récupérer la clé. C'est ingénieux ça.
It's open.
St. Paul painted by Guido Reni.
St. Paul is shown holding a sword.
Ah, l'homme à l'épée,
Strange.
ici.
There's hardly any
Salut
dust,
Ombriste.
as if the painting's been cleaned recently.
Comment vas-tu?
There's a small inscription engraved on the frame. Let's take a closer look. This is how Paul spoke to his pilgrims from Rome. Just above that, someone's written down the figure 11 on the painting and underlined it twice. No, what does that mean?
Moi ça va, même si je galère un peu.
A chest with the occult symbol representing air.
A drawing of the Apostle Matthew, painted by Guido Reni. He's represented as writing the word of the Lord, transmitted by the Holy Spirit, who appears here in the guise of an angel.
Alors, y a-t-il un endroit où nous allons trouver?
I guess I'll just come back later.
It's St. John, painted by Guido Reni.
Beaucoup d'apôtres ici quand même. Un livre encore.
Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Reni. It looks like someone touched this commode recently. There are fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust. A devil's thorn, to be used to uncover the best disguised trait.
Painting of St. Mark from the collection of the apostles by Guido Reni. Amber crystals.
Bon, il nous reste ce livre du coup.
A volume of the Gutenberg Bible. I guess I'll just come back later.
Je ne sais plus c'est lequel qui représentait avec l'épée au fond. Je vais d'abord me privilégier celui-là.
Saint Paul
Saint
painted by
Paul.
Guido Reni. Saint Paul, of the 4 apostles shown in this piece, Paul is the only one who isn't an evangelist. He is the 13th apostle.
Attends.
I guess I'll
Du
just
coup,
come back later.
dans les épîtres de Paul.
Saint Paul painted by Guido Reni.
St. Paul is shown holding a sword.
Strange. There's hardly any dust, as if the painting's been cleaned recently. There's a small inscription engraved on the frame. Let's take a closer look. This is how Paul spoke to his
Pèlerin venu
pilgrims
de
from
Rome.
Rome. Just above that, someone's written
Chiffre
down the figure
11.
11 on the painting and underlined it twice. No, what does that mean?
Alors, Du coup, les Romains, chapitre 11, verset
I say
11.
then, have they stumbled that they should fall? God forbid, but rather through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy. Oh, wait. A note from Mother is carefully folded between the pages here. What does it say? Dear E, I'm glad you found this note. I was afraid the code of the two groups of pilgrims would mislead you. Pick up the package. You know where, and hide it where no one will find it. It's imperative, awaiting your reply, hidden behind the youngest apostle. What? The youngest apostle? What does Mother mean by that?
Salut Blix. Alors maintenant, le plus jeune des apôtres. Je dirais que c'est celui-là du coup.
The painting looks like it's been taken down recently. What was it my mother said? That she would wait for an answer hidden behind the apostle. Ah, of course. There's something written behind the painting. On the second day, the pilgrims will listen to the prophecy of the young apostle. They shall add one companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their rank. What does it mean? On the second day, the pilgrims will listen to the prophecy of the young apostle. They shall add one companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their rank. What does it mean? On the second day, the pilgrims will listen to the prophecy of the young apostle. They shall add one companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their rank. What does it mean? It's Saint John,
Saint Jean.
painted by Guido Reni.
Donc, Évangile selon Saint Jean. Non. Ou alors on revient ici. Ou alors je suis trompé.
I guess I'll just come back later. Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Reni. It looks like someone touched this commode recently. There are fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust. St. John is the only apostle painted in this gallery who hasn't got a beard. Hey, wait! That means it's him. He's the youngest apostle. Right. This painting is therefore associated with the answer which E had to give to my mother. Now, I just need to know how to recover the answer. On the second day, the pilgrims will listen to the prophecy of the young apostle. They shall add one companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their rank. What does it mean? On the second day, the pilgrims will listen to the prophecy of the young apostle. They shall add one companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their rank. What does it mean?
Est-ce que j'ai vu un 2-13 avant? Je ne crois pas. Je ne sais plus. Donc, Évangile selon Saint Jean. Non. Celui-là. Non. Je vais tous les faire.
And it came to pass in those days that Jesus came from Nazareth of Galilee and was baptized by John in Jordan. And behold, there cometh one of the rulers of the synagogue, Jairus by name. And when he saw him, he fell at his feet. And as they did eat, Jesus took bread and blessed it and broke it and gave it to
Bon, je viens
them
d'avoir tout faire.
and said,
Mais
"Take, eat. This is my body."
je n'ai aucune possibilité d'approfondir le code, moi. Il faut de la logique, de l'occultisme.
On the second day, the pilgrims will listen to the prophecy of the young apostle. They shall add one companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their rank. What does it mean?
Prophétie du jeune apôtre. C'est forcément l'évangile selon Saint Jean. Ou alors non, là.
But he that hateth his brother is in darkness, and walketh in darkness, and knoweth not
On n'est pas sur le
whither
13,
he
mais bon.
goeth, because that darkness hath blinded his eyes.
Et ça n'était pas ça. L'Apocalypse de Jean.
And the woman was given 2 wings of a
Je
great
suis
eagle,
totalement
that she
perdu.
might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time, and times, and half a time, from the face of the serpent. Hey, a new note.
Ah,
It's been folded carefully in the corner of this page.
mais oui,
The
pourquoi
writing,
alors j'ai deux.
it's not my
9,
mother's.
12, 15. Ça fait 12, 14, c'est bon.
I found the book in your effects. I've concealed it where no one can get their hands on it. I can assure you, awaiting your instructions, I will hear your reply like he who hears the angel. Hears the angel? What does that mean? Oh, it's probably the place where she was expecting to get the location of the next note.
Celui qui écoute l'ange. Qui est-ce qui écoute l'ange? C'est lui.
There's something else behind this painting. It says, half of each group will join the first city of Corinth. What the hell does that mean?
C'est qui ce Gus?
A drawing of the Apostle Matthew,
Matthieu.
painted by Guido
Ok.
Reni. He's represented as writing the word of the Lord, transmitted by the Holy Spirit, who appears here in the guise of an angel.
Donc, j'irai. Ah non, c'est pas là, c'est là. Non. Avec les apôtres, non. Revenir au début. Ah, mais les Corinthiens, du coup. « 12-14, on arrive à
Now,
6 et 7,
therefore,
c'est la moitié à
there
chaque
is
fois.
utterly a fault among you, because ye go to law with one another. Why do ye not rather suffer injustice? Why do ye not rather suffer yourselves to be defrauded? Ah, look, here's a message. It is of paramount importance that no one finds it. Watch out for the Prussian. He's on the trail. Let's meet up. I'll leave it to you to organize the rendezvous. Not today. I'm unable to do it. In the meantime, I'll follow the first group to Mark, who will reveal the answer to them. And that first group of pilgrims, how many are there now? If I refer to the chapter I'm reading at the moment, 6.
Marc. Où est-il ce Marc? Il est du coup ici.
There's nothing worth noticing here. Little characters are engraved on the chest of drawers under the urn. It's a sentence in Hebrew. It says, "Count in the
Comptez dans la
dust."
poussière.
All right, let's do it. There are finger marks, deliberately drawn in the dust. 8 in all. That's what the message in Hebrew spoke about. Hebrew 8. No, nothing of value here. It's too cumbersome for me to unhook here, but judging by the dust, it hasn't been moved for months, if not years.
Alors nous avons Hébreu 8. Et ça parle de Marc. Est-ce qu'il y a des Hébreux ici? Oui. Nous avons dit que nous sommes à 6 groupes de pèlerins. Donc, ça va être celui-là.
That which beareth thorns and briars is rejected, and is nigh unto cursing, whose end is to be burned. Here's a message. There are some complications. Indeed, the Prussian is insistent. What's happening at your end? Do you need help? If tonight is not possible, let's say tomorrow evening, in the south room, where we reviewed the
Aimez-le,
situation.
ça peut être pour Elisabeth.
When Paul understood that only the acts counted, he went back on his tracks. I await your confirmation to his left, in the company of the pilgrims that have joined him. Yeah, this last comment is about their code. I should find new pilgrims near Paul. St. Paul painted by Guido Rini. St. Paul is shown holding a sword. Strange. There's hardly any dust. The painting's been cleaned recently. There's a small inscription engraved on the frame. Let's take a closer look. This is how Paul spoke to his pilgrims from Rome. Just above that, someone's written down the figure 11 on the painting and underlined it twice. I don't know, what does that mean?
Peut-être celui-là.
St. Paul on the Road to Damascus by Caravaggio. This painting has been hanging here for a long time. A lot of dust is built up on it. Well, a finger has drawn a number in the thin layer of dust. I can read the number 4.
4. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a 4? Maintenant, cherchons un 7-4. Parce que on est rendu à 7. Il est revenu. Non. perdu là, franchement. Je n'en sais rien.
For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin.
Ou alors ce serait 10. Et dans lequel? Est-ce qu'on avait 6 pèlerins? On a comme chiffre 4.
I guess I'll just come back later.
Pitié, dites-moi qu'il y a un 10 là-dedans. Non.
And he became very hungry and would have eaten, but while they were made ready, he fell into a trance. Hey, there's a note here.
Ah.
A message from Mother and
Bon, j'ai du mal celui-là. Hein.
We must leave urgently, but first I absolutely must go beyond the nightmare. Watch out for Volner. He figured out I was avoiding him. Allay suspicion. See you tomorrow evening. Stand ready. For now, let's cease all communication until we meet. Take care of yourself. I suppose this must be the last message. What happened afterward? If it's what I suspect, I fear the worst. What did Mother mean by, I absolutely must go beyond the nightmare? I must go beyond the nightmare. What does she mean by that?
Et ouais, pensif ma gueule.
I'm guessing it's a metaphor. I need to figure out what this means. Mortimer's getting his guests together. I ought to join them so I don't look suspicious.
C'était assez compliqué quand même. J'aurais dû mettre littéral en fait. C'est le seul truc que j'ai raté du coup. Et c'est bien sympathique. Franchement. Allez, 4 nouveaux points. On va débloquer l'agilité pour pouvoir prendre des trucs en hauteur. Et on va aussi débloquer ces deux-là. Et celui-là aussi, allez. Très bien. On va élargir le champ des possibles avec des compétences de d'autres classes. Nous pouvons équiper 3 manuscrits, c'est pas mal. On peut augmenter la politique. L'érudition, c'est pas mal aussi. Linguistique. Allez. C'est y part, comme on dit.
It's time I went back and joined everyone in the small salon.
Le petit salon. Où est-il? Ah oui, c'est vrai. Donc je descends et... Est-ce qu'on peut lui parler à lui?
You are expected in the small salon, sir.
Ok, il dit juste qu'on a attendu. Alors qu'il aurait pu me donner un mouchoir.
Emily, I must speak to you.
What's the matter, Louis?
I have news about your sister.
What have you found out?
Look, I've started piecing together the events leading up to my mother's disappearance and your sister's. Did my mother know about your secret?
Yes, even though I belong to the English chapter, her rank in the Order gives her access to a good deal of personal information.
Must have been Emma I saw in my vision. I was given to understand that my mother and your sister bonded during their stay. If Mother's really killed her sister, I'd better find her by myself. They say they spent a lot of time together. They got along well.
Oh, really? Do you think your mother liked Duchess Hillsborough?
Of course she did. After all, she's your sister. Well, we'll find them, Emily. Trust me. Should I speak to her about my vision? If what I saw is true, she might want to take revenge.
On va se taire, hein.
I better keep that to myself for the time being.
Come, Louis. They're waiting for us.
You will pay dearly, Peru. I'm sure you were involved somewhere along the line.
That's right. Pretend you don't know. One piece of advice. Don't travel through France on your way back, or it'll cost you dearly.
Calm now, my friends. Let's calm down. Everyone seems to be a little unnecessarily heated. Don't forget where you are, please.
What's going on here exactly?
Sir Gregory called us together to introduce the last guest.
But hardly had we arrived when he set upon Monsieur Peru.
And who is this charming character?
Manuel Godoy, the Duke of La Alcudia.
Ah,
He's the head of the
il ne manquait
Spanish
que lui
government,
pour bien
Monsieur de
s'amuser.
Richelieu. He's the one who, in practice, controls Spain.
How could you dare do such a thing? Dios mío, you are all out of your minds.
Really, Duke Manuel? What made you kick up such a fuss?
What? Have you not heard? Well, let me inform you that yesterday morning at 10:22 a.m. precisely, in the middle of the Place de la Révolution in Paris, by decree of the National Convention which Monsieur Peru works for, King Louis was guillotined.
What? Oh, no.
The King of France is dead, gentlemen. Our monarchies are in danger.
Oh non, c'est
I
trop
have said it
triste.
before.
Non, pourquoi qu'il perd la
How
tête?
dare they?
Oh, dear.
Oh, as if it didn't...
Gracious.
Friends, let us calm down.
Don't pretend to be surprised. He got a fair trial.
Ridiculous! Bastard! He was sentenced to death by 361 votes to 360. You beheaded a king for one vote! Is that your democracy?
What an obnoxious act. Until this, anything was possible. This political coup will have grave consequences.
France is lost.
Gentlemen, please. Let us take a step back a moment.
In the name of
Mon Dieu,
holiness.
nous avons perdu
You
la
was the
France.
highest representative of
C'est trop
God in
grave.
France, Emily.
Nous allons calmer le jeu puisque
Gentlemen,
nous pouvons.
Duchess, we're all among people of reputable company here. We should be able to manage the conflicts of our nations in a respectful and orderly manner.
I fully agree with you, sir.
But
That's enough, sir.
with whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
Louis Maras de Richet.
Are you related to Sarah de Richet?
Sarah is his mother, Duke. Gentlemen, this news affects us all, but I must ask you to remain calm. It's not the first time history has taken us by surprise. Let's ensure that our respective countries are allowed to respond appropriately to this news.
Oh, rest assured. The response will not fall short, my friend.
Good for you. Well, Your Grace, here I was preparing to introduce you as is proper, and you've beaten me to it. I'm delighted that we are all together at last. Our meeting will therefore be able to kick off shortly. I have just a few more little preparations to take care of
Allez.
before you all find out the reason for
Nous
your
allons avoir du
presence here.
bourge au
In the
menu.
meantime, I shall leave you to get to know one another. When you hear the bell, please proceed to the conclave room on my left, behind that door. I'll see you later.
Personnage découvert Manuel Godoy. Lui, il faut pas lui parler de ce qu'il est.
Could you spare a moment, please, sir?
I'm glad you asked. want to talk to you too. Of course.
I heard
Ouh là là,
about
une
your
confrontation.
mother's disappearance.
He looks concerned. I don't know why, but I doubt it's from sympathy alone. Well, let's see what he wants from me.
Any news of her? Have you found her, maybe?
To hear you speak, you seem to know my mother well.
Not really. We met for the first time on this very spot some weeks back.
Von Wollner. Diversion. Ok.
We had a very pleasant discussion. She's an exceptionally learned lady, with a good head for business. No need for me to tell you that.
I agree.
Did she tell you about our arrangement?
Je pourrais faire savoir, enfin, je pourrais faire celui qui sait, mais j'ai peur que ça se retourne contre moi. Mais on va essayer
Of
quand
course she
même.
did.
Perfect. I'm glad to know it. So, how should we proceed?
Je
then?
pense que c'est pour le livre.
What do you mean?
Oh, come, sir. No point pretending. You know. You obviously have no idea what I'm talking about, do you? You might have come across some old books in her belongings, perhaps?
Alors, je suppose que ça ne fonctionnera pas. On va lui faire
As
parler de
my
ça.
mother's got so many old books, I'm afraid I won't be able
Oh,
to...
it's easy. You can't mistake this one. It's an ancient grimoire, composed of 7 parts. Each one is closed under lock and key. It was made in such a way that if someone tried to tamper with it, the sheets would be permanently tarnished. If you find it, you mustn't tamper with it. You see?
That's unusual. Unfortunately,
C'est bizarre, mais j'ai quand même
that doesn't ring a
l'impression de
bell.
rater chaque fois
I'll look
et
again, but
je
I
réussis quand
wouldn't
même.
get my hopes up.
J'ai de la
You
chance.
seem very upset. Is it so important to you, this book?
Well, it's the search of a lifetime. What can I say? Every time I move closer to it, it seems to slip away at the last minute. I was very surprised to learn that your mother had it in her possession.
Allez, fronce
I
les sourcils,
thought it
lui.
was with a certain von Borchardt
Fais-lui
in
peur.
Paris. Do you know him?
I've never heard of him. I'm sorry. I haven't been much help to you.
Well, too bad.
I hope I've been able to satisfy your curiosity, Mr. von Vollner, and that you succeed in finding what you're looking for.
Oh, and so do I.
And now, what if you told me who you really are working for, instead
Je
of
n'ai
keeping up this
vraiment pas
pretense?
compris ces
I beg your
confrontations.
pardon?
We both know what you're looking for, von Vollner. You're the one who von Burchard was planning to sell it to.
For centuries, all those who have come into contact with the Al-Azif have bitterly regretted it, Monsieur de Richet. You are playing a dangerous game. Please know that I am working for someone who does not appreciate anyone poking around in his
J'ai quand même
business.
commencé
Let me
la
guess.
confrontation en disant que je connaissais parfaitement leur arrangement.
You're dear king, I should
Et
think.
ensuite,
What?
j'ai enchaîné en disant que je ne connais rien.
William? Oh, my poor fellow. You are miles away. That stupid pretentious
s'est passé?
puppet wields no real power. But seeing as you do not wish to be serious, so be it. Good luck to you.
Alors, trouver des indices. Mais à part sur le truc après confrontation, je vois pas beaucoup de fails en fait. J'ai réussi toutes les étapes en fait. Je ne comprends vraiment pas en fait. Lui je peux lui parler mais on va le faire après. Est-ce qu'il y a d'autres choses? Oh, de la gelée royale. Très intéressant.
There's a pattern with 5 circles on this chest.
Je n'ai pas la clé.
A bazant. Amber. Amber crystals. Chronicles of the Amber Princes. As I recall, Dorkin was my favorite character.
On va en parler à Bonaparte.
Monsieur Bonaparte, may I speak with you a moment?
Mais oui.
Faut en savoir plus sur la note de notre mère.
What do you
Parler de
think of
Godoy d'abord.
Duke Godoy?
Well, I'd rather not express any opinion of him.
Why is that?
His reputation is enough for me.
I'm sure that a soldier such as yourself is not interested in vulgar rumors.
Quite right. If only this cursed gossip didn't come to stain the uniform he has the audacity to wear.
Don't you find him worthy?
But how could he be, monsieur? He never sets foot on the battlefield, too occupied with charming the queen.
Oui,
Have you
il est assez
any
ridicule
idea
quand
of the
même.
number of titles that coward has won in just a few years?
No, not really.
10! And that Don Juan spends the best part of his time under the queen's skirts. The bugger must have some hidden talent, given all of the gifts she gives him.
I understand your point of view.
Would you have
Parle
any
du colloque.
More information about the conference Lord Mortimer spoke of?
Nothing at all. Mortimer is very committed to secrecy
Ah,
when
son
it comes to
accent.
his conferences. But given the presence of Monsieur Peru and ourselves, I think it must concern France to some extent. Otherwise, I doubt he would have invited 3 Frenchmen to his table, huh?
Does expression go beyond the nightmare mean anything to you at all?
Well, metaphorically, yes. It sums up the career of a soldier quite well. I doubt that is what you want to hear, though.
Indeed.
That's surely not what I'm looking for.
Well, monsieur, if you are looking for a phrase book, Lord Mortimer must surely have one, given the number of books he has. You ought to check in the library of the tower. You never know.
Fromage et grenouille. Bienvenue à mon colloque. Fromage et grenouille. Pour ce faire, nous inviter des Français.
Well, I'll be leaving you now. Shall we meet up again later?
Wait, monsieur. Any news of your mother?
Unfortunately not, no.
I hope to speak with her about my deal before I leave. Let me know if you find her. À plus tard, monsieur.
Tous les bonapartistes seront athées ici, effrayés par cette caricature. Chalençon ne regardera donc pas mon stream, c'est dommage. Et je n'ai pas plus avancé en fait sur ce que je dois faire.
What can I do for you, sir? I am at your service day and night, sir.
Non, on n'a rien à lui dire. Là, il y a un petit point bleu, mais c'est pour la vue.
Mr. President,
d'abord
what do
Godoy,
you think
ensuite
about
le
your
colloque.
counterpart, Duke Manuel?
I'm very surprised he was able to accept Lord Mortimer's invitation, given the political situation in Spain.
What do you mean?
The situation is ready to explode with France over Catalonia.
Well, the Duke must have a darn good reason to be absent and come here, mustn't he?
When Lord Mortimer invites you, Louis, you come. It's always in your best interest.
I wouldn't say that personally, but... Mr. President, can you tell me a little more about the coming conference?
Of course, Louis. That's why we're here. Lord Mortimer or Sir Gregory regularly organize meetings like this to put forward major projects.
What do you mean by major projects?
I'd prefer to let Lord Mortimer explain that to you, Louis. Let's say he brings together influential people in order to consider possible actions to undertake to guarantee the future of nations.
Do you know the theme of the conference?
Not in the slightest. None of the guests know the theme before arriving. But you'll see, everything will turn out fine. Don't worry.
Go beyond the nightmare. Does this line remind you of anything in particular?
You've caught me unaware here, Louis. Let me think about it a second. No, nothing comes to mind. Sorry, Louis, but I am unable to help you.
Well,
Nous ne sommes pas plus
thank you for your
avancés
time.
avec Washington.
Don't mention it, my young friend.
Je ne sais pas où peuvent se trouver les autres.
Regarding your question on the nightmare, don't hesitate to question the others about it. Maybe one of them knows more than I do.
That's a good idea. Thank you once again. I'll see you in a little bit.
Et où il y a des gens ici?
Carmelite water will give me a little reprieve.
PNJ. Notre cher cardinal.
Louis, just the man. Good Lord, how did the king come to be executed? I would think that the order would have intervened.
Est-ce qu'on va le fâcher? Oui, il y a des papillons ici. C'est joli, les papillons.
I invite you to speak about it with my mother as soon as she reappears.
Is there any news of her?
Well, I hope it won't be long before I find her, Your Eminence.
No, you wanted to speak to me.
If I say the nightmare to you, does it make you think of anything?
Your question is strange, my son. Difficult to say. Could you at least tell me a little more about the context?
Think of a place and tell me the first thing that comes into your mind when I say the nightmare.
Let me think. I'd say Lord Mortimer.
J'ai une vulnérabilité sur PNJ, la manipulation, c'est pas mal.
His favorite painting on the wall behind his desk. You know, that painting caused quite a stir when it was exhibited. It is titled The Nightmare, and it shows a woman lying down with a creature sitting on her, and in the background, a horse. I don't know if it will be of any help, but I can't think of anything else.
You never know. Thank you for that, though, Your Eminence. I gotta go and see it just in case, though. Thank you for everything, Your Eminence. I shan't take up any more of your time.
You are welcome, my son. I will be seeing you, Louis.
Donc, nous avons trouvé l'indice, c'est ça correspond au tableau dans le bureau de Mortimer. Mortimer, son bureau il est tout en haut. Montons, montons les amis.
What do you want, Louis? You're leaving
Non, on
me?
peut lui parler.
Unfortunately, I have things to do. Thank you again, madam.
Merci pour rien.
So, what did my mother mean by going beyond the nightmare? No, what have we got here?
Il dépense beaucoup pour des toiles, lui, quand même, hein. Alors...
Let's take a closer look.
Des chocolats. C'est bon, les
These
chocolats.
chocolates are probably a protocol gift. Everybody in Europe loves them nowadays. Marie Antoinette, the Queen of France, has her own personal chocolate maker at Versailles. They say it's her guilty little morning ritual before getting dressed. A cup with 1 sugar and some vanilla, if I remember rightly. I would be surprised if Mortimer has them delivered straight from South America. Dark chocolate beans. Very bitter. They're greatly prized in high society.
Des baies rouges. Ah, on peut peut-être en prendre.
Might come in handy.
Voilà. Nous faisons encore n'importe quoi, mettons des baies rouges dans notre costume.
The Nightmare painted by Fuseli in 1781. Ah, this must be what my mother was talking about. Now just need to find out what she meant by go beyond. Hey, looks like it's mounted on rails on each side. It should lift up, I think. There must be a mechanism somewhere.
Trouver un mécanisme pour déplacer.
I don't think this book can help me.
Ah mais prends-le au lieu de le reposer.
I don't think this book can help me.
Je veux le voler. J'ai pas assez de livres. Je pense que si je m'éloigne du tableau, je ne vais rien trouver de plus.
No, what have we got here? Well, it looks like a model of a lock. As if Mortimer is fond of complicating things sometimes. Aha! I found it. Oh, what on earth is this? A ring lock now? Great. That's all I needed.
Trouver le code. Alors.
No, what have we got here? Well, it looks like a model of a lock. As if Mortimer is fond of complicating things sometimes.
painting depicting the Third Crusade. It's titled Winter Before the Fall of Saint-Jean d'Acre. The Siege of Saint-Jean d'Acre was a major conflict during the Third Crusade. Richard the Lionheart and Philip Augustus fought to take the town back. It was the Crusaders' first operation to take back the Kingdom of Jerusalem.
Qu'est-ce qu'il a le perroquet? Ah.
A myna bird. Tell me the door code. Here I am talking to a bird. Shame on me. Sarah de Riche? Waldo, you know Sarah? What? Repeat that, Waldo. Sarah? What about Sarah? Good God, what's been happening here? Well, Waldo, is your master good? I don't really know what I was expecting.
Ok, donc il y a quelqu'un ici qui a supplié ma mère de ne pas aller à un endroit où on ne sait pas. C'est terrifiant. D'imprécision. Les perroquets ne sont pas fiables.
This painting isn't finished. It looks like Mortimer probably did it. Not bad, but you can't exactly say it's been done in the style of the period. History of the First Crusades by Pierre-Amédée de la Sarde. Hey, the dates indicate AL, and it looks like 4,000 years have been added to our calendar. Oh, that counting system again. The famous call from Pope Gregory VIII in his Audita Tremendi Bull of 5,187.
51-87, je suppose.
Oh, the crusade where Richard the Lionhearted distinguished himself. It states the first sea blockade of Saint-Jean d'Acre was broken in the 12th month of 5,190 AL, whereas the siege had been going on for 2 years. Damn it. It doesn't work. 5,190. I was pretty sure it was right. Maybe I didn't use the right dating system. Well, I got it wrong. It doesn't matter.
Je vais reprendre le livre. Ça, c'est un truc que je peux pas prendre.
History of the First Crusades by Pierre-Amédée de la Sarde. Hey, the dates indicate AL, and it looks like 4,000 years have been added to our calendar. Oh, that counting system again. The author is Pierre-Amédée de la Sarde, none other than the Grand Master of the Masonic Lodge of Paris. Now I understand why the dates are offset. He's using dates based on the Anno Lucis, year 0 of the Masonic calendar, by adding 4,000 years to the Gregorian calendar. But I thought that calendar starts in March. The famous call from Pope Gregory VIII in his Audita Tremendi Bull of 5,187. Oh,
Je
the
pense qu'il va
Crusade
falloir faire quelque chose avec les
releases Lionheart
4000.
distinguished himself. It states the first sea blockade of Saint-Jean d'Acre was broken in the 12th month of 5190 AL, whereas the siege had been going on for
1190
2
peut-être.
years.
Je ne sais point. Ah mince.
Doesn't work, damn it. I really thought I was close.
87.
1,190. Isn't the right date when you subtract 4,000? I must have missed a subtlety. Well, I got it wrong. It doesn't matter. Well,
C'est terrifiant ce
I
code
got it
trouvé.
wrong. It doesn't matter. A painting depicting the Third Crusade. It's titled Winter Before the Fall of Saint-Jean d'Acre. I get the impression I've seen that before. In fact, I've read something on the Crusades before in the study. He clearly loves the subject.
11,89. L'hiver avant, c'est forcément 89. Donc,
Still not
peut-être si on
working.
remet
I get the
5089.
impression I counted the wrong way. It must be
5189.
1 year more then, right? Well, I got it wrong. It doesn't matter. No, what have we got here? Oh, it looks like a model of a lock. It's as if Mortimer is fond of complicating things sometimes. Well, I hope I never have to try and unlock it. Hey, there are 2 dates on this painting. 1154 AD and 5154 AL.
J'ai pas retenu les dates.
Hey, there are 2 dates on this painting. 1154 AD and 5154 AL.
11,54. On va essayer ça. Ah,
Well, I got it wrong. It doesn't matter. Well,
j'ai
I got it
l'impression d'avoir tout
wrong.
testé.
It doesn't matter. History of the First Crusades by Pierre Amédée de la Sarde. Hey, the dates indicate AL, and it looks like 4,000 years have been added to our calendar. Oh, that counting system again. Doesn't work, damn it. I really thought I was close. 1,190. Isn't the right date when you subtract 4,000? I must have missed a sub.
Je fais au hasard quand même là-dessus. Je n'ai pas vu d'indice pour 1191. Mais bon. Jolie pièce quand même.
Let's see what you've been hiding, Lord Mortimer.
Alors, une aide du vice-président aux États-Unis.
Weakness of the Human Psyche by Guillaume Trimore. He says, it is possible to drill an idea into someone by constant daily repetition until the mind gives in. Some of those forces are pushing toward the west. On it, Mortimer's placed little feather symbols at different points, toward which the Spanish are headed. Could he be fueling Indian resistance to slow down Spain? This shows the forces present in America.
Intéressant. Il essaye peut-être de mettre dans la merde l'Espagne. Il invite Godoy. Oui, ok. Un truc avec un bouton en bois.
This is my mother's writing. I've picked up her trail. What is she up to? Obviously she wants to lure Mortimer somewhere, but where? The only clue she's left for Mortimer is this stone sword. It must be intentional. It looks like a decorative sword, like from a statue, for example. And judging by the state of it, I'm guessing it's been left outside for a long time. I have absolutely got to find out where it came from.
On va retourner dehors.
Some goat skulls, chicken legs. Now we all know what that's for. I'm a little surprised at Mortimer. I didn't seem as the type to be 3 rusty old nails. They're about 20 centimeters long. Strange. I don't recognize the alphabet. I wonder where the pictograms are from. It isn't Egyptian or Hebrew. There are 2 inscriptions on the sides as well as on the top. No way to know what's underneath. Absolutely no idea what it's for, but I find this cube fascinating. These are feathers. Pigeon, a skeleton by the name of Gustav.
Un squelette du nom de Gustave.
Anything to go by.
Oh là là.
Mortimer's given a name to his anatomy.
Il y a du Gustave partout.
That's morbid. That must be for writing the homing pigeon messages.
Ah, mon Vendéen préféré. François Athanase Charette de la Contrie. Fun fact, j'ai visité son château plusieurs fois à ce type. C'était sympa. Enfin, ça reste un réalisme, mais bon.
A chest with a motif representing the alchemical symbol of fire.
great. Honey, the table of alchemical elements.
Il est quand même pas discret l'autre. Hein.
Am I seeing things, or is that an actual von Leeuwenhoek microscope?
Il laisse son courrier traîner un peu partout.
Mortimer really is at the cutting edge of science. Even at the order, it took us ages to get one of those. It's locked.
J'ai découvert une immunité sur Mortimer. Il est où? Mortimer ici. La science, faut que je parle de science.
Oh shit. How am I gonna get out of here now?
Bon.
This looks like the same mechanism as the one on the other side. Whoa, whoa. If the grid closes a bit more every time I enter a wrong date, I'd better not mess up again. I thought about the inversion of the numbers. That's not it. What am I missing here?
Comment j'ai trouvé le code pour s'en sortir?
A fine-looking map of the Orient, indeed. It's locked.
Mais donc, il parle à l'empereur de Chine aussi. Ça fait beaucoup de monde.
It looks like a campaign is being prepared in France in favor of Italy. Could Mortimer have decided to finance a war?
Oh là là.
Weakness of the Human Psyche by Guillaume Trimor. He says, it is possible to drill an idea into someone by constant daily repetition until the mind gives in.
Le truc c'est que je ne sais vraiment pas comment sortir de là. Oh, je peux voler un livre.
Something strange about this table. The Little Surgeon's Perfect Collection. Strange. I don't recognize the alphabet. I wonder where the pictograms are from. It isn't Egyptian or Hebrew. There are two inscriptions on the sides as well as on the top. No way to know what's underneath. absolutely no idea what it's for, but I find this cube fascinating. An iron mask. I wonder who it's for.
Peut-être celui-là.
A table of alchemical elements. So, Lord Mortimer also studies alchemy? It seems like he's interested in everything. Some goat skulls, chicken legs. Now we all know what that's for. I'm a little surprised at Mortimer. Weakness of the Human Psyche by Guillaume Tremor. He says, it is possible to drill an idea into someone by constant daily repetition until the...
Bon. Je vais regarder sur internet parce que là j'en ai marre de ne pas en sortir là-dessus. C'est un peu triché mais bon. Un petit 64-66.
Gives in and goes
Normalement.
on. There are hundreds of good ways to live life, but you only need one to convince the masses that it's the only one possible. The author isn't letting any ethical principles get in his way, is he? This looks like the same mechanism as the one on the other side. Well, I better not dwell on it then.
Maintenant l'épée. Oh, on a fini le cauchemar. Nous avons loupé Pérou. Mais est-ce que c'est grave, franchement? Points, alors on va débloquer celui-là, celui-là et mettre un là-dessus.
This note is about a meeting with Lord Mortimer. There's no doubt about it. All right, I need to find out where the sword that came with it's from in order to find Mother.
You're joking, I hope. Don't tell me you've done that.
Really? How do you expect me to guess?
Oh, for God's sake, just ask them.
Notre mère ou Piaget Wollner? Allez, Piaget
We
Wollner.
must absolutely inform Sir Gregory. How long has he been trying to collect all the spears?
I must have brought him the first one 20-odd years ago.
Do you know if he has managed to get the original?
Well, in any case, he's got all the ones we had at the Vatican. He made me replace them with copies. But I don't understand your reaction. I'm sure it is nothing serious.
Aha. I can see very well you do not understand. You have done nothing less than sign our death warrants, and still you don't understand.
Someone is listening.
What? Monsieur de Richet, why not join us rather than find yourself eavesdropping?
I didn't want to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
Of course you didn't. So, my son, what can we do for you?
I didn't mean to spy on
Suivre
you,
la
but
discussion, hein.
you caught my attention. I heard you speaking about Sir Gregory, and I wondered what it was about.
That is none of your business, monsieur.
Don't take it the wrong way, Louis, but you shouldn't be eavesdropping.
Please leave us, monsieur. His Eminence and I wish to finish our discussion alone.
J'aurais pas dû demander ça. Alors, sinon... Si je m'en souvenir, ça nous disait que ça proviendrait de dehors. Je suis où là? Oui, ok. Oh, un livre à voler.
Is everything all right, my young friend?
Mr. President, you might be able to help me. I'd like to know where that sword comes from. Any idea?
It reminds me of the statues in the garden. I can't guarantee it, but you ought to go and see. You never know, do you?
Thank you, Mr. President.
You're quite welcome. See you soon.
J'aime pas tellement ces bibliothèques là. Et elle est un peu mal faite, même s'il y a beaucoup de livres. Il y a vraiment beaucoup de livres.
Amber crystals. Lord Mortimer certainly has a taste for staging rooms.
Oui, mais j'aimerais bien sortir moi, s'il vous plaît. Comment faire? Comment faire? On va lui demander à
What
lui.
can I do for you, sir? I am at your service day and night, sir.
As I was unable to bring my personal effects with me, I was wondering if you could find me a few items.
Of course, sir. What would you require?
Could you tell me where this sword comes from, please?
Certainly, sir. How did such a sword come into sir's hands?
My good man, I'm afraid you're overstepping your role. You're the one who's supposed to be giving the answers, not me.
Naturally. I hope that sir will forgive me. If I were sir...
Serviteur. Oh.
I would look in the garden. This sword looks like it's from the garden statues.
And how can I get into the garden?
There are two ways, sir. The first way to get to the garden is by the hall, between the conference room and the portrait gallery. The second way is directly through the portrait gallery. Sir would just have to go out by the French windows.
Thank you, my good man.
Donc. On va retourner à la galerie des portraits. Pour trouver cette sortie vers le jardin. Ah, un jardin.
The sword probably came from this garden, but what could it have been used for?
Alors, voyons.
Icarus.
Non, il n'a pas d'épée, lui.
The son of Daedalus and Nocrate. Impossible to mistake him with those wings. After flying too close to the sun, they came unstuck and he fell to his death. Pity. Well, let's keep going. Pasiphae, daughter of Perseus and sister of Circe. She married Minos and became the queen of Crete. Deliverance alone suffices not to wash away my humiliation. All right, well, let's continue anyways. I wonder what this kiosk is doing in the middle of the garden. Too cramped to be able to do much. Well, there must be something going on there. It's up to the just to deliver judgment. Truth unlocks all possibilities. What is that? It's like a sort of opening mechanism. Knowing Mortimer, I bet it's booby-trapped. There's a little hole at the fingers. Pretty sure if I get it wrong, I'll get pricked. Damn you, Mortimer. Reminds me of traps I studied in Egyptian tombs.
Knowing Mortimer, I bet it's booby-trapped. There's a little hole at the fingers. I'm pretty sure if I get it wrong, I'll get pricked. Damn you, Mortimer. Reminds me of traps I studied in Egyptian tombs.
Ah, satané labyrinthe.
Well, Monsieur de Richet, what brings you
De
here?
ici.
To tell the truth, I was wondering the same thing about you.
It's rare for guests to wander about in the garden. I wanted to be alone for 5 minutes.
You look worried.
Worried? No. Resolved would be a more exact term.
Resolved to do what?
What's the point in answering? You wouldn't believe me anyway. I'll be leaving now because whatever it is you're up to, I do not want to know. Be seeing ya.
Tell me, aren't you even curious?
Curiosity killed a cat, Monsieur de Richet. I admit, I may have judged you wrongly. Watching you seek out Mortimer's little secrets might even be amusing, if I didn't already know the consequences. See you later.
What scares you so much?
Don't mess with him, monsieur. If he offers his help, refuse it. Keep your freedom and get far away from here while you still can.
Je sais pas comment pousser du coup. C'est bizarre. Du coup moi je veux aller vers la statue au fond là-bas. Je ne sais pas. Qu'est-ce que c'est finalement?
Ariadne. In Greek mythology, she helped Theseus get through the labyrinth. Looks like there's a crack in the region of the heart. I guide this sword that will kill the monster. Let's see. What's going to happen if I've got it wrong? Ariadne.
On va retourner au milieu. Et là nous pouvons appuyer.
What's wrong? Either I'm imagining things or my hand was pricked. It had poison on it. My head. I feel hot.
Je suis pensive.
Daedalus. He's the architect of the labyrinth, and if I'm not mistaken, he's also the father of Icarus. Hey, there's a crack in this statue too. The crack is thin and about as long as a finger.
C'est un peu le bazar, tout ça.
Pasiphae, daughter of Perseus and sister of Circe. She married Minos and became the queen of Crete. All right, well, let's continue anyways. Asterion. It is rare to see him like this. In general, he's represented with the head of a bull, with the features of the Minotaur. The famous son of Minos and Pasiphae. This statue has a crack in it. Let's go. Theseus, son of Aegeus. He's the one who slayed the Minotaur.
Ils ont tous une fange, j'ai l'impression.
Looks like a crack has been made on his torso.
Ça se trouve, j'ai
I
pas
wonder
mis
if Mother
la bonne
managed to solve
statue.
this enigma.
Du coup, je vais essayer avec toutes.
Ariadne. Let's try something else.
Non, pas de fente.
Theseus, Looks like a crack has been made on his torso.
Ça ne marche pas. Non.
Theseus. Let's try something else instead. Asterion. This statue has a crack in it. Right. We'll soon see.
C'est bien, j'ai pas les effets du poison à chaque fois. Je pourrais économiser petit
Asterion.
machin sympathique. Je sais plus le nom. C'est terrible ça.
Daedalus. Hey, there's a crack in this statue too. Et c'est sur tout le monde. Daedalus.
J'ai vraiment essayé sur tout le monde là.
Alright, let's try again. You never know.
Non, peut-être elle.
Pasiphae, daughter of Perseus and sister of Circe. She married Minos and became the queen of Crete. Alright, let's continue anyways. Pasiphae, daughter of Perseus and sister of Circe. She married Minos and became the queen of Crete. Deliverance alone suffices not to wash away my humiliation. All right, let's continue anyways. Minos, son of Zeus and Europa. If I remember correctly, he was the king of Crete. Married to Pasiphae, he had many children, including the famous Ariadne, whom history remembers for her thread. Hey, there's a crack in that statue. His gesture sealed his fate. The crack is in the region of the heart.
Ah. Enfin. Oh, des traces de sang.
Ah! Whoa. Again?
You can't be serious, Manuel. You know that's not going to happen.
You must leave me alone now. I have agreed to everything. Even to...
Agreed? I wasn't aware you had a choice.
What's going on here?
What now? What else must I do to win back my freedom?
Obey me. Now get out.
Ok, donc en arrivant là, on a eu Pérou,
was
enfin,
that?
Pérou qui nous a
That's the third
dit
time
que
in
le
3
mieux
days.
c'était de se barrer pour préserver sa liberté. Et là on a Godoy qui se plaint de ne pas être libre et qui est forcé d'obéir. Ok. Maintenant revenons
Let's see if you're in
dans
there,
les traces de sang.
brother.
Allez, on va fouiller la crypte.
A fragment of amber. Bandages? Someone's been patching themselves up. Looks like my mother took advantage of being in hiding to change her bandages, huh? This is silk. She must have used her own clothes. These bandages are pretty basic. She'll be lucky if she doesn't get an infection. Damn it, Mother. Now what's happened?
Eh ben...
Don't move!
Wait, I'm not armed.
Who are you?
Good God, Mother, what have you...
Tell me who you are.
Bah, elle le sait quand même. Allez, on va finir de débloquer ça. Et ensuite, on va me laisser le dernier point sur nos trucs de diplomate, parce que quand même, on est diplomate à la base. Et voilà, l'épisode 2 terminé. Enfin. Bon, je l'aurais fait en 3 heures. C'est pas mal. Donc, je vais m'arrêter là du coup. Merci de m'avoir suivi. C'était fort sympathique. Puis vous êtes beaucoup. Bonne soirée à vous. Et le prochain stream du coup sera pour l'épisode 3.